everyone, this is Charlotte Strong. I am back in the studio and I'm going to be finishing the work on this piece. This is the mold that I worked on in a previous video, and I'm going to be attaching it to the canvas with resin, and also adding some color to the resin and doing a pour over the piece. So I'm going to be working on this piece. I'm just going to be doing a clear resin on this piece. I did a fluid pour on this canvas previously. I did not do a video for the fluid pour. I will in the future do some videos on fluid pours, but I don't have a video for this one. I'm just going to pour clear resin on this canvas because I want to have it clear coated in resin. And then I am going to try to make some coasters with this mold that I picked up on Amazon, and see how that turns out. I have some Ranger alcohol inks that I'm going to use to pour into the mold to make the coasters. And I'm using Art and Glow resin for all of this. So it's a day in the studio. Let's get started. So I will show you how I mix the resin. Instead of doing 2 cups, resin in 1 cup, hardener in 1 cup, I pour one on top of the other. So I'm going to do 12 ounces. So I'm going to pour 6 ounces of resin, and then on top of that pour up to 12 ounces with the hardener. I'm going to find a nice sturdy and level spot that's going to work right there. And I'm going to get my silicone stir stick, have that ready, and then come in with the resin. And as I said, I'm going to pour to the 6 ounce mark on this paint mix cup. So this is the resin that I'm going in with, and I'm pouring to the 6 ounce mark. That is right on the line. So now I'm going to pour to the 12-ounce mark with the hardener. That is right on the line. So I'm going to mix this for 5 minutes. I'm also going to watch for streaks. I'm going to scrape the sides of the container. And I'm going to scrape the bottom of the container. And I'm going to do that several times throughout the mix. I know that Art and Glow resin gives me 40 minutes of work time. So I have 40 minutes before it starts to slow down its flow and begins to harden. And again, I'm going to scrape down the sides. And scrape the bottom. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to do is my clear coat on this one. Actually, I can see that I've got a little too much, so I'm gonna just scrape off a little. Now that I've gotten about the amount that I want on there, I'm going to go in with my hands to spread it on the canvas. This is actually a canvas that I've done a fluid pour on, and on the back I have some pieces of cardboard to stiffen up the canvas in preparation for the resin pour. And when this is all done, I'll take the pieces of cardboard off. Since I actually want to glue this down, I'm going to go ahead and put resin on the back of this. And put it right in place. Want it about right there on the canvas. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. May just have enough to get 2 coasters out of this. Take these gloves off. Mix the powder in. I'm going to use for the canvas. I'm going to use some blue and let's try just with the blue before moving on to that. I want to go over this one with the blowtorch. Well, it's the next day. I've sanded these 2 pieces. I went ahead and took the cardboard off the back because now that I have 1 coat of a resin pour, it should hold up fairly well. I think. We'll see. But the reason I sanded them is because the first coat of resin I had some spots that didn't stick so well. And the reason it didn't stick is because there was Liquitex pouring medium on the base. This was a fluid pour using Liquitex pouring medium, and I used silicone in it as well, and what I tried to do was to do a flood coat of pouring medium to seal off the silicone, but I know that resin doesn't always stick to pouring medium. However, with silicone on it, you can clean your painting very well, but you often get so many more of these spots. So I'm going to do another coat to take care of those few spots there. And I have a spot here on this one. I'm sure for a similar reason. Because on the background, some of the effects that I used Liquitex pouring medium. And there was just the one spot it didn't stick. I did a little pre-sand on it thinking that that might help, but it didn't help. But I knew that I wanted to do several coats of resin on this because I want to add the Pearl X powders in several layers on this piece in color around the mold that I have here. So I've sanded this back, if you give a light sand to your resin, you'll have a better chance of your resin adhering to the next coat. I'm pretty sure that my camera turned off because of battery issues whenever I was doing these coasters. So I don't think that this actually filmed. But I'm going to do some more of these coasters today. So I will go ahead and show you these using alcohol inks. In the mold there's some lines, so the lines showed up a little bit there, but I can polish those out. That's coaster number 1, using 2 different colors of green and silver. And this is coaster number 2. I think I used a little too much of the blue because it's mostly just blue. It actually looks better at the back than at the front. So I'll try again today and see what I get. So let me set these aside. I already have my resin mixed up. I really love the Art and Glow resin. I mean, I am a vigorous stirrer, and in spite of stirring very vigorously, you get very few bubbles. I have not done anything to remove the bubbles out of this pot of resin. Hope that that is showing through. There is so very few bubbles in this pot of resin mix. It's just truly awesome that there's very few bubbles. And I've noticed that it doesn't take a lot of torching to get the bubbles out of your pieces as well. Okay, so I'm just going to reuse the same cup that I used. Don't normally do this, but the resin is all cured in there from when I did this pour yesterday. I'm going to be a little bit more generous with this. I'm going to go in with the blue. And this is Pearl X powder. And the color is turquoise. Color is turquoise, but it looks blue. And I have a smaller cup here that I'm going to do a smaller amount of a purple and a green. So in one cup I'm going to do duo green purple. And in the other cup it is lavender, misty lavender. Is there a piece of tape on here? Nope, it's just my gloves. These little stir sticks that I am using are gelato spoons. They're just the right size for stirring small amounts of paint and resin. And they're flat, so it makes them handy for scraping along the sides. Okay. Spread this out just a little. Well, maybe more than a little. Come in just a little thicker in that spot where it was had a dimple. And then come in with a duo green. In with the purple. Don't really want to mix them completely. Want some variation of color. And that's that. I'm going to take this glove off that has the color on it. And then I'm going to go in to do the clear pour on this one. I'm going to be a little bit more generous than I was the last time. because those are the dimples. That's where the dimples are. I'm going to be pour it a little bit heavier right there. And what I'm doing is just taking some clear resin and putting it now over the face, this mold. Which will further seal the mold into the canvas and not affect the look of the mold at all. So let's do this again, but this time I'm not going to put as many drops. Just going to try 2. But I used a lot of the green, and that didn't seem to affect it, so silver doesn't seem to want to get to the bottom. So let me see. I don't want to mix it up. Well, I'm just playing anyway, so let me just see what happens. I do believe using less blue is the way to go. I'll try coming in with a little more green. All right, I'm gonna leave those there. Yes, I'm gonna leave those there. Am I? Yeah, I'm gonna leave those there. I'm gonna take my gloves off and torch everything. Just want to get the color up around. Okay. There's a little piece of trash or something there, so I'm going to take my tweezers and get that out. piece of something there. Could be just a bubble, but I think it is some lint, because I know I have a little bit of lint on my outfit that I'm wearing. Alright, I will come back tomorrow. Alright, that's just a glob of the Pearl X powder that didn't fully get mixed in. I'll come back tomorrow when this dries and check these out. I like how that looks. It's much better with less ink. Alright, it's time to look these over and see what we have. There's a little spot right there. I'm not really sure what it is, or I think maybe it's the Pearl X pigments. But I don't like the look of it. And then I have a little spot here where the resin didn't cover. So I'm going to come over and do another coat. But otherwise, I like it. So that'll get another coat. And there's a spot here that didn't get covered. And there's a dimple there. And a dimple there. Not really sure why it's dimpling. It shouldn't be dimpling on this coat. So I think maybe I will let this one sit for a few days before I do the next coat. Let's look at the coasters. This is the green and the silver. That's a nice effect. And this is the blue and the white. So in the first one that I did, it was too much blue. And in this one, I think not enough blue. And then these are the two green and silver. I did more mixing to the green and silver in this one, worked it more towards the bottom. And this one I left it more towards the top. I'll keep playing with them. So I have poured another coat of the resin onto this piece, and I've mixed up some more of the Pearl X powders into this cup. I added a little purple with the glue, because why not? I'll add just a little more of the blue. And let's pour that on. So I'm in a closet right now so that I can close the door, turn the lights off, and show you the glow in the dark part of this mold and the painting. Because I'm in a small space, I'm gonna need to scroll up and down the painting to get the whole part in. But this mold part here is the part that I want you to look at. Okay, lights out, and let me turn the flashlight. Okay, let me actually charge it some more. I've charged it with a black light, just a black light flashlight. And I hope this is going to show up on the camera. I hope, because the glow in the dark from what I see is just incredible. Let me charge it one more time. See if I can get it really bright. So with lights out and with the glow-in-the-dark charged, this is what you would see. Or with a black light focused on it, this is what you would see. And in the daytime, lights on, this is what you would see. So you have a multifunctional painting. And this painting was done with Art and Glow resin and Art and Glow glow powder, Pearl X pigments, and acrylic paints. Thank you for watching. This is Charlotte Strong with Strong Art Creations. I'll see you next time.